Hi, good to see you all. Am I audible? Uh, yeah. So we've already had few questions. Can anyone tell me if I'm audible enough? Yeah? So, we already had a few questions. So let me start with that. One of you asked me what lifestyle changes to be made for psoriasis. So I just want to make you aware that psoriasis is a disease which can be controlled with medicines, definitely not cured. So you have to make sure that and as you know that in winters we get a lot of flares of psoriasis. So make sure that you do not take bath with too much of hot water. Use as much moisturizer as you can. In fact, I tell my patients to even oil your skin before bath and take away mild soap like a glycerin soap and use warm water. Take quick showers. Don't it should not be like you take. So and lifestyle changes, have a good diet, do little yoga because stress is one of the triggers for psoriasis. So we need to cut down on the stress, exercise, and have a healthy diet which is rich in proteins because in psoriasis what happens is a lot of flaking and skin drying up, so we lose a lot of protein. So make sure you have a good protein rich diet. And if you are a non-vegetarian, eat fish oils help in it. And sleep well, eat well, so all the other general guidelines. Yes, so let the questions come. Yes, I can see some. Okay, so glowing skin. Okay, the reason behind my glowing skin, well, a lot of effort goes into it. So I have been taking care of my skin ever since. Now it's been more than 25 years. So I make it a point to always apply a sunscreen. I use a vitamin C serum in the morning, a retinol cream at bedtime. I make sure I exercise. I eat good, I sleep at the right time, I follow a disciplined lifestyle. I know it's boring to hear that on a Saturday evening, but believe me friends, it really works. It goes a long way in keeping your skin clear and nice and fresh. So these are the ghar ke nuske which our grandmoms and moms have been talking about, but they really work. Simple guidelines. Of course there's a lot to do beyond that, but these are the foundations, like you sleep well, you eat well, and you exercise. So if you're not well with the foundation, then other things don't really work. And there are also a lot of anti-aging therapies that we are lucky to be living in such an era where there are a lot of anti-aging therapies which can reverse many signs of aging, which can help us look better and fresher. So I'm not the person who would really advocate my patients to look 20 years younger. That doesn't work. But I advocate my patient to look the best version of themselves, whatever age it may be 40, 50, 60, but to look the best version of yourself, which can be done with many therapies, with many medical guidelines, with many other treatments that we offer. So yeah, and keep the questions coming, friends. Yeah, so is laser treatment effective? So you got to tell me, Lisa, which laser are we talking about, because we have now umpteen number of lasers for different indications, but I guess you're talking about hair removal laser. So yeah, it generally works really well, but make sure you are going to a good reputed doctor who has good machines. So like how you have other Chinese stuff, in lasers also you have many other Chinese machines, so beware of centers who offer you packages at ridiculous prices, because doctors can't, doctors with good machines which really give you good effective results cannot afford to give you at those pricing. So that it's not that we're charging too much, but then if you're going to a good reputed doctor who hires good technicians, who makes sure she's always there when the laser is being done, because that decreases the number of side effects and also gives you a chance to have the treatment done at really good results, machines which are among the top 10 in the world. So they will be a little pricier, but at least you're getting, you're at the right hand, so make sure of that. And ultimately you'll be the beneficiary, because you'll take less number of sittings. If you go to the right doctor with the light razor machine, you will be the beneficiary, because you will end up taking lesser number of sittings. And contrary, if you go for a cheaper version where you might land up with side effects, you might land up taking more sittings, and sometimes you see paradoxical growth as in, if the right parameters are not applied, you see more hair growth coming. So that's where you are not under the care of a doctor, you're not under the care of a dermatologist, you're not under the care of someone who knows how to operate the machine, who knows her parameters correctly. So that's how it's very important to be under the care of a dermatologist, not like just anyone and everyone who opens up a laser center. And it works really well because we choose our patients. So I don't really advise laser hair removal for very fine hair, for thin hair, because it's not meant for that. It's meant for thick hair or for hair which grows very fast. And and some body parts like the underarms will always give wonderful results, because all of us have thick hair over there. Some areas have thick hair, so these are the areas which will always give you good results. But if you go and get your fine hair lasered, it's not going to work, because laser is not meant for very fine hair, it's meant for thick hair. And supposing you have some hormonal issues like polycystic ovarian disease, where your hair growth is under the influence of disturbed hormones, then you'll just require more sittings, and maybe with different parameters which your dermatologist will be the best person to decide, or maybe a combination of different lasers. So these are, maybe it would work better with that way, but then again it comes down to you being under the care and guidance of an able dermatologist. That's how it's very important for you to make sure you are in good hands. Yes, so okay, so I have a question from Yashvi. I have a dark patch on side of my face, so please suggest something. I use retinol as well. So Yashvi, dark patch means it's pigmentation, and pigmentation can have a variety of causes. So it's very difficult for me to even look at a photograph and tell you what the cause could be. I need to use something like a dermoscope. I'll show you what a dermoscope is. So we usually we usually use a lens which is very powerful, and then there is something called a dermoscope. I'm not able to, so this is a more powerful instrument with what we tend to see the pigmentation, the depth of the pigmentation, and how much we can treat depends on a variety of reasons the pigmentation has been caused. So it can be because of sunlight, it can be because of trauma, it can be because of you've picked at your skin, it can be sometimes birthmarks, they come up later in life. So there can be a variety of pigmentations, hormonal, non-hormonal, so I need to really check you properly to tell you what the cause is, to tell you how I can treat it. Sometimes it just could be as simple, the treatment could be as simple as me giving you a tube to apply and a sunscreen to protect your skin. Or sometimes there are various pigmentations which take number of laser sessions, we call it the QS laser, for it to really go. So it's difficult for me to just look at in a photograph and tell you exactly what the cause could be and how I could treat you. But yeah, you could definitely continue applying retinol. That is something that I suggest to all my patients who are at least 30 up. That helps to keep the pigmentation at bay, that helps to keep the skin younger looking. It improves the turnover of the skin actually. So it's good in all ways, and if you can tolerate it, nothing like it. So which sunscreen I apply? So I like to try out different products because there's so many new things that keep on coming, and before I prescribe to my patients, I like to try it on myself because I like to experience it, experience a number of things about the product, its texture, its smell, and I like to be in the patient's shoes and experience the product myself as to how, if I'm a patient, how would I feel applying it, would I like to apply every day, because sunscreen is such a thing that I tell all my patients to apply 2 to 3 times a day. So if I, being a patient, if I'm being given a product like this, would I like to apply it? So for that I have to experience it myself, right? So I usually I keep on changing my sunscreens, but right now I'm applying something called Is Clinical and I'm loving it. It's a physical sunscreen, and I think it's doing a lot of good to my skin. The other nice sunscreen that I like is something called Heliocare. So it's a European brand, and it's very nice sunscreen, and I have a dry skin, so I like to use something which has a little moisturizing base. So sunscreen, now we have different and various formulations in sunscreen. So for oily skin, we give a gel based sunscreen. For ladies who want a little coverage or a little tint, we have tinted sunscreens. Then for a dry skin like how I have, we have a moisturizing based sunscreen. Then there are sunscreens with anti-aging products inside, with vitamins, with hyaluronic, so a lot of combinations. So it's a whole plethora of sunscreens, but this is my current favorite, the Is Clinical. So yeah, okay, so you were talking about hair reduction, Lisha, so I guessed that right. Winter sunscreen, which face wash? Okay, so Sunny Prajapati, could you tell me what kind of skin you have? Is it oily, it's dry, or sensitive? Because in winter, in Ahmedabad, the skin gets really dry, even if you have an oily skin. And so many patients of mine who have acne, who have oily skin, I tend to change their products in winter because the skin gets dry. It's not like Mumbai, or it's not like other places where you can keep on using the same products. So in Ahmedabad, you have to keep on changing your products according to the season. So in winter, I tend to give something really soothing and non-drying face wash. You could try Cetaphil if you have a dry skin. So that's one of my favorites. You could use D-Wash, which is available at our clinic. That's also for dry skin. But if you still have an oily skin, you still have a seborrheic skin in this season, you could choose something like Bioderma CBM face wash. You could use something like Ahaglow. You could choose something like Sebamed. So these are my popular choices for oily skin. And if you have a little aging or mature skin, as I call it, then I like to give a sunscreen a face wash for dry skin with many additives like Avene brightening cleanser. Then we have Obagi cleanser at our clinic. Then we have Is Clinical face wash. So I tell my patients, you should invest in good products because it goes a long way in taking care of your skin. So if you use the basic good products like a good cleanser, a good sunscreen, a good moisturizer, so these are your basics. So find a good doctor for you who can recommend good products and stick to it, because this is a good investment for your skin. If you care for your skin from your teens or early 20s, it'll go a long way. Otherwise, you keep on getting problems and you keep on spending so much money after it. So that's why I believe that all of us should invest in really good products meant for your type of skin, and I think a dermatologist is the best person who can advise you for these products. So yeah, uh, yes, please, Yashvi, you're welcome. I would love to have you here. Yes, so yes, is Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Sunblock good to apply? So even so I like sunblock or sunscreen. I usually prefer medicated products. So I usually prefer something like what is available at our clinic, like Heliocare, Obagi, is clinical. So all the products, we could offer you something according to your budget, but I'm not really a big fan of Neutrogena. But then if you don't have anything else, then this will do. So something is better than nothing. So that's how it goes. Yeah. So we have so mild shampoo suggestion for very dry wavy hair. Oh my god, that's what everybody is asking me right now. So even I am having dry wavy hair in spite of whatever I do. So winter is tough time for our hair, because the skin gets dry, the hair gets dry, and you can't. Though I'll tell all my patients not to use hot water, not to shower in hot water, but it's very tempting. And if you are a early morning riser and you take bath early, then it's difficult to use cold water. Even warm water is difficult. Hot water is very tempting, but still. So more than mild shampoo, I would tell you, if you have very dry wavy hair, don't forget to oil your hair. Even if you oil for an hour before you shampoo or half an hour, it helps. Also use a good conditioner. A mild shampoo works, but a good adjunct would be a good conditioner. Any good conditioner would do, like even a L'Oreal would do. Then in our clinic we have this Ducray hair conditioner for very dry damaged hair, and if you want some OTC, even Kerastase are very good products. So you could use any of that. Mild shampoo, use a sulfate free, SLS free, parabens free shampoo. And some of the ones that are available at routine pharmacy is I could give you some suggestions. It's like Tricleanse shampoo, it's Mildy shampoo. These are good ones for dry wavy hair. But if you want, you could try out the Kerastase range too. But as I told you, if you have really, really dry hair, then maybe you can visit your dermatologist once, because sometimes maybe you would be having some vitamin deficiency, or some metabolic disorder like thyroid, which is not yet identified, and that's the way it could present. So sometimes we have caught thyroid early, we have caught B12 deficiency early, just because a patient has come for hair loss or a change in the hair texture. So all these kind of things. So there could be a variety of presentations for such things. So just keep it in your mind. If it's really bothersome, and if it's really being for a long time, then once you should visit your dermatologist, just to rule out any other disorder. So Becadexamine, good for hair. So it's a good add-on, but biotin is actually what we generally recommend, along with other nutrients, micronutrients and supplements. It works, but at the same time we also tell you to do a little lab work, like B12, like the complete blood count, which is hemoglobin, then how much is your iron level, the ferritin level, then how much is your thyroid status, the D3 level, because this gives me a complete picture if there is any nutrient deficiency. Because if I just keep on treating you from outside, and I don't really understand if there is something happening inside, then that's not a sign of a good physician. So I need to understand what your body is trying to say, so that's how we do some lab work and try to understand if there is any disorder. So yeah. So any night cream for skin brightening. So I need to know a lot of things before I suggest that. What's your age? If you have any other issues like acne or acne scars. So you have dry skin. So, any vitamin C cream or any cream with hyaluronic acid, then glycolic acid. So these are all fruit acids, which along with hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, they have a very nice brightening effect on the skin. Some of the ones that we generally recommend from the drugstore, I'll give you a few examples, like Dippy White cream. We tell you to use Lumivoid. So these are some of, but then ideally I should see you, I should check your skin and then tell you what to use. So it would not be right for me to tell you blindly what to use. Yeah, so you're 23 years, but then I really need to check you. So yeah, I have a question from Namrata. Hair oil is good for growth. So hair oil doesn't do much for growth, but then recently I've come across this this brand called Brillare India, which it's a combination of onion oil and basil oil. So it's like 4 oils which have a good effect on stopping the hair fall. So maybe not for hair growth, but even if it can manage to stop the hair fall, nourish the scalp, so nourish the dehydrated scalp, nourish the hair. So it's all a collective effort. You take some vitamins, you improve the quality of your hair, you nourish your hair, you eat good, you eat right, you sleep right, and you use something like minoxidil that we give. And so it's all a collective effort. So I think hair oil is a good adjunct therapy. So it complements the main therapy. I cannot say it's the main therapy. So that was your question. So you, Shivani, I have less hair growth. Yeah, so Shivani, I would need to check you once and see if it is like hereditary, if there's another disorder, or I need to check you to answer that, and maybe do some investigations or lab work to to actually know what the cause is. So yeah, so that's how I can solve the problem. Shivani, you need to visit a doctor at least once to let you know what the cause is. It's difficult for me to just randomly answer this question. Yeah, so we've had quite a bit of questions, and I think we should do it regularly for all my viewers and followers over here on all my Insta family. So yeah, so another question from Namrata: is there anything for under eye puffiness? So under eye puffiness, I would recommend do not have too much of salt in your diet, especially in your dinner. And some foods like the Chinese food or the spices that we put in Chinese food, they can cause puffiness. Too much of salty food can cause puffiness. And the way you sleep, if you sleep on your face all night, all the fluid, it tends to collect in the loose tissue around the eyes, which leads to under eye puffiness. So it's the way you sleep. I tell my patients to keep your head a little elevated when you sleep. So use a good pillow, unless you have been restricted due to your cervical problems. So and have lot of fluids, have lot of water through the day. We tend to forget that it's so important for maintaining the hydration of the skin and hair, but have lot of fluids through the day so that you can remove the toxins. So there are many under eye creams. So if you're doing all this and still facing under eye problems, you could use some under eye cream suggested by your doctor. So we have this very nice Avene under eye cream. We have the Seasterma Reti-Age under eye cream, the K-Vit serum. These help in reducing the puffiness. So how is Rohan is asking me, how is Revilus shampoo? So Revilus is good. It's Dr. Reddy's. So it's good. All my patients are happy so far. So if you like the way it works on you, I think you can continue it. It's mild. It helps in controlling the hair loss. You're using the Trick Lenge. I really don't know what that is, Rohan. So pardon me for that. I really don't know that brand. Yeah. So yeah. So anything else? I think it's been a great session. Thank you all for being there, and I think I'll keep on continuing because, and I started this on the request of many of my patients, and you're always free to DM me for any queries. You're very welcome, and I'm very happy to see you all here for taking out time here and being here and answering me whatever queries you have. So there are 2 or 3 more. Let me answer that quickly before I wind up. So Kai1 is asking me the cause of dark dry lips in winter. So Kai1, what happens is, whenever anything gets dry, whether it's the skin or the lips, and lips are very, if you have dry skin and you really don't apply lip balm at night, you will have tendency to get dry lips, and whenever it gets dry, and it would look darker. And then if you have the habit of biting your lips or licking your lips too much, then it could turn darker and darker. Another cause would be smoking, which I tell all my patients to cut down on it because there's absolutely no cure for it. So use a good lip balm, hydrate your lips, and do not bite like this. So many patients do not realize mild shampoo. I think all of this should work, and if it doesn't, then do visit a dermatologist to rule out certain deficiencies or certain disorders like thyroid. So here I wind up. It's been half an hour of sharing knowledge with you. Thank you all my Insta family, and I shall be back with you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.